Hey everyone, welcome to the Volleyball Data Lab. I'm your host, Tyler Widdison, and I've got our studio fired up, ready to dive into some serious data learning. As the former performance analyst for USA Beach Volleyball, I know firsthand the importance of being able to handle loads of data. In this series, we will break down the use of R so it becomes easier to use. So get ready to spike your data skills. Let's get started. Good day. Welcome to the next series. We're going to do a little bit of summarizing, a little bit of mutating, and a little bit of data manipulation. It's going to be really useful for rotational analysis and also opponent rotational analysis. So let's hop right to it. We're going to load our data and our libraries. And there's an interesting little trick in R. If you hold Control Shift and then push R, that will bring up what's called a section label. And what we're going to call this section label is data manipulation. Hit OK. And what that does is it creates a comment, but it also creates a small section. So if I were to add another one, we'll just say data metrics. When you close this, all the code closes with it, but it leaves the data metrics open. We're not going to use that for now, but just in a little interesting tidbit. So what we're first going to do is manipulate our data. The first thing I want to do is filter out those nasty NAs that occur between rallies. So I'm going to take those out, and then I'm going to rename. That's a function I haven't talked about before, but basically if you want to rename your column, you're going to see I want to rename from evaluation code to grade. So I'm going to rename grade equals evaluation code. And we're just going to do that for now. And the next thing, so we're going to pipe again, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mutate. And what we want to do is, and if you watch the last video, you may have seen a little bit of this, but basically what we want to do is create an opponent in one of our columns. What team are we playing? So what we're going to say is opponent is equal to if else team equals home team, return home team, that is not right. If the team is home team, we want visiting team. Let's just check that out. There we go. Whoops. And we're going to say select contains team. So now we have team. And opponent. All right. There we go. So that is giving us our team right here. You can see an opponent down there. So cool little function I didn't tell you about before. When you're selecting columns, you can hit contains, and if it contains some character or some string, you can return it. Just those columns that contain something. So that's super helpful, especially for when there's a large number of columns. So I got my opponent, comma, and I want the setter position. Because right now, if you look at this, setter position, there's no team setter position, only home and away, or excuse me, home and visiting. So we want to throw that setter position on what row is representative of that team and their setter position, if that makes sense. So basically what we can do is just copy that, put it down there. If it's home team, return home setter position. If it's not home team, visiting setter position. All right, and that should also work. right? And if you wanted, you could also um, do both. What if we did that? Would that work? I don't know. Yeah, I think it worked. So we have 3 and 6 and 5. So it looks like that is interesting though. Oh, see, it is different every other time because it's a different team. Different teams are into different rotations. So you can see the setter is in 6, and then they go to 5 on the next touch. Um, cool. All right, so that is what I want. All right, and I think I failed to mention I'm using a new data set here. Um, I have about 50 matches from 2020 and 2021. Thought it would be fun to mix it up. NCAA women's. And when you do this data manipulation, you don't want to change the the name back to DF because what happens is if you at some point are like, oh dang, I actually need to add another mutate, you this won't work, it will break because the rename has already been renamed and there's no more evaluation code. So it'll say, oh, I don't like that. Just to give you an example, let's run that. So now it's fine, but let's say, oh, I wanted to add awesome stuff equals awesome stuff, right? I don't know why I did that, but just as an example, now it's an error. But if that wasn't there, all of a sudden it runs, right? So just to keep you a heads up, you may want to rename um, this data frame when you're doing this data manipulation. So what I usually like to do is like name it like DFS or something. Um, but when I load the data, it's already named DF. So what I'm going to name it is, I don't know. Let's just call it VB. That's easy enough, right? For volleyball. All right, so I got my data manipulation down. Now what I want to do is actually first I want to explore my data set because this is a new data set. I don't know what teams have what number of matches. So if we go DF distinct team, we can see all the teams. But let's say we want to know how many matches each of those teams played, just like a quick glance. We could do, and actually we're going to use VB because those, I forgot about that. So we're going to use VB and match ID. There we go, that looks better. And then what we'll do is group by team and count. And that will return, uh, and we can do a range negative n, and that filter is greatest to not so greatest. So Kentucky has 21 matches. So I think what I want to do is look at, since Kentucky has the most matches, they have the most attacking attempts, but we can change it to Duke if we so choose. I want to look at what rotations was Kentucky weak attacking in. Yeah, why not? I think that would be an interesting look at. So what we do is VB. Actually, first off, I'm going to create a section. So if you hit Control Shift R again, we're going to say weak attacking by UK. VB filtered, and this time we're going to University of Kentucky and skill equals attack. So in the previous summarize video, I put the skill equals attack in the summarize. This time I'm putting it in the filter. You can do both. I'm just showing you different ways to do these things because there's so many different ways. And in fact, you can use base R, which is way foreign to what I'm doing right now. Well, maybe not way foreign, but it does not look the same. There's a lot more uh, programming mindset you have to have that I'm not very great at having. However, I don't want that like that. However, if you get a big amount of data using base R actually may be wise. It just really depends. So we're going to say skills attack, and then we're going to say group by. So last time we used phase, excuse me, attack phase in the last video, but right now I have it as NA and I don't know why. That's no bueno. So we just use phase and that should work. Setter position, because I created that. Let's just do a count, make sure that works. So we can see University of Kentucky, when they were attacking, in rotation 1, when they received, they attacked 166 times. Or excuse me, setter position 1. So I guess that is rotation 1. Setter position 2 would be 6, and so on and so forth. You could actually mutate that to rename it if you want. I'm not going to do it now, but you can. So we're going to say, let's see, where are we at? We're about 10 minutes in. Let's go for about 3, 4, 5 more minutes. Summarize. There's only a few more things I wanted to do. Attack attempt equals n. So I can use n because I already filtered for skill attack. So that's the only skill that's it's returning. I don't have to say sum skill equals attack. I can just say n, which is really nice. Attack kill equals sum grade. I changed it. Yes, all right. Equals pound or kill. Attack error equals sum grade percent C. Obviously, it's up for debate what an attack error, attack block, right? So attack error, kill percent equals scales percent attack kill divided by attack attempt. Let's just check that. Attack kill was not found because I did that wrong. There you go. So now we have kill percent, and we can kind of decide, oh wow, so when they were in rotation 6 or setter in 2, for a small side out percentage or reception at kill percentage was not high. Let's look at the efficiency as well. Attack efficiency equals, we're going to do a round, so attack kill, whoops, attack divided by attack attempt, 2, 3, I mean. So there we go. All right, so now we can kind of look at it. Yeah, so their efficiency was quite low. That's interesting though. If you look at it, their reception, so attacking after reception was actually a bit better um, than in transition. That is interesting. So if you could get them in transition, that's not, unless they're in, maybe that's what made them so dangerous, was they were so good in side out. Rotation was 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is 5. So 5. 1, 6. Yeah, 5. That's 5. They were pretty good in 5 out there. So yeah, cool. So yeah, now we have that's something we can use. And actually, yeah, actually we can call it uh, rotate phase rotation attacking. You could do something like that. And then when if you're like putting it together in an actual table, uh, can actually look at it and visualize it and view it. It looks really cool. Over here it pops up, and we're not going to go through that today, but we will need to know this part. So now we're going to say, actually we're going to call it good. I think that's good. So this is just a part 2 of Summarize, just a brief overview and manipulating our data set. So it's a little longer video than I wanted. Hopefully there's something good in here for some of you. Cool. Have a good one.